Finally.
Finally! Yes! It's here! It's finally here!
Oh, you guys think I'm excited for the new Incredibles movie? I am, but I'm really excited for Meme Quest! I apologize for that overreaction. On a more calmer note, please download Meme Quest. It's free on iOS and Android markets. All you have to do is click that top link down below. Many superheroes work alone. Some have dynamic duos, others join leagues of justice. Few are even considered super friends. But what if you had a bond so strong that you would consider your group a superhero family? Take the Incredibles and the Fantastic Four. If you had an opportunity to even have superpowers, would it be better to have fantastic powers or incredible powers? Today, we answer that question. Today, we rewind Rumble. Before we break down each character individually, it's important to know how these groups became families. The Fantastic Four was formed after 4 civilian astronauts became exposed to cosmic rays during an unauthorized outer space test flight in an experimental rocket ship designed by Dr. Reed Richards himself. Obviously, it had to be the smartest guy to build the dumbest ship. So yeah, they got blasted with like space juice or something. There was a very huge chance that these rays would give them all terrible diseases, but instead, they got the comic book cliche treatment and received superpowers. So you know how they became super, but how did they become a family? Well, Susan and Johnny Storm were already siblings, so there you go on that end. Then Susan eventually married Reed, there's another connection. And if you consider the Thing as a brother from another mother, and boom, you have superhero family number 1. Or number 4 if you want to get technical. As for the CGI Thundermans, in the world of Incredibles, there's a separate race of humans known as the Supers. As to why this is, well, there's a Pixar theory out there that could explain why, along with a weird evolution theory of living cars, but that's a different topic for a different day. What's important to know is that after Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible got married and had kids, the genetic chance of their kids having powers was 75%. And their first 2 kids did have powers. They thought their youngest son Jack didn't have any powers, but spoiler alert, well, it's not actually a spoiler. The baby also has powers. Jack though is not included in this fight. I'll explain why in the post-analysis. The biggest thing to get out of these origins is that the Fantastic Four had mutated origins and the Incredibles had genetic ones. So now we can move on to individuals, and who better to start with than the stretchy parental roles on each team. As the leader of the Fantastic Four, Reed is responsible for commanding the team and for being the head brains of the group. He has excellent flexibility, being able to stretch and morph into many different useful shapes. Mr. Fantastic can extend his limbs, torso, or neck great distances. The maximum length he can extend before it starts to hurt is roughly about 1,500 feet. He could go further, but again, it'd start to hurt the dude. Helen Parr is a mother of 3, wife of 1, and a hero of many. During the modern age, supers were legally forced to not use their powers in public. Bob didn't adjust to this well, but Helen did, which means I guess you could say she's just more flexible. Her powers include the ability to stretch, deform, expand, and or contract her body into anything imaginable. She can stretch up to 300 feet and can flatten herself down to 1 millimeter. Helen can leap up to 80 feet and morph into many useful objects such as a boat, parachute, ball, and slingshot. Next up, we have the strong brutes of the group, Mr. Incredible and the Thing. Robert Parr is your classical Boy Scout in tights type superhero. Friendly with the media, on good terms with law enforcement, and a role model to all, at least at first. In modern times, after heroes became outlawed, Rob struggled to just sit back and not fight for what's right. This is partially due to his immense power. According to Syndrome's data files of supers, Bob's exact lifting limit well exceeds that of 66 tons and is a threat rating of 9.1, a level none other superheroes in the world ever reached, making him one of the most powerful beings on the planet. Even in middle age, he's also been seen bench pressing locomotives and throwing boulders at tremendous speeds and distances. If you're feeling rock hard, just take a look at a few photos of the Thing and you'll feel soft. The Thing possesses a rock-like hide due to the exposure of cosmic rays. His primary superhuman power is great physical strength. He has clashed with battles against the Hulk, lifted entire spaceships, oil rigs, and more. He is extremely durable and completely immune to aging. He can only die from circumstantial damage. He also has a rare ability to turn into a human once a year. We better move fast, as the next pair is Dash and Human Torch. Dash has super speed as a quick thinker and makes a great decoy. It's usually his role to distract his targets in order for his parents to go on the offensive sooner rather than later. Dash is only 10 years old and certainly acts like it. This can be both a good thing and a bad thing. It's good because he's hyperactive and can be quite the smart aleck towards his enemies. It's bad because sometimes he misbehaves and that can hinder team potential. Johnny Storm is the younger brother of Susan Storm. They say Johnny is the hottest member of the Fantastic Four, but I can make a good argument for why Susan is hotter. In terms of powers and abilities, just from the looks, you can probably guess he's packing heat. Not figuratively, but literally. The Human Torch possesses the mental ability to control ambient heat energy and the physical ability to transform his entire body or portions of it into a fiery plasma-like state of will. He can fly, control temperatures, is immune to fire, is an expert in pyrokinetics, and of course has his Nova Flame. The torch refers to his hottest levels of plasma that he can create as the Nova Flame. The exact temperatures of the Nova Flame aren't exactly known. At an average rate of energy use, the torch can stay at a flame for roughly 16.8 hours without the need of rest or an energy boost. And last, but certainly not least, we have the two invisible telekinetic females, Invisible Woman and Violet Parr. Violet Parr is the oldest child in the Incredibles family. She may not be the loudest, she may not be the strongest, and sometimes she even acts invisible, but deep down, her power and heart is one of the most underrated among the entire family. Violet has the ability to create force fields, turn invisible, and has become quite skilled in using force fields as a makeshift giant-sized hamster ball. Regardless of powers, Violet is also great at coming up with creative ideas. She knew how to escape her electrical bonds that Syndrome kept her family in, and she's great with coordinates. And then we have Susan Storm. How she operates her powers is still unknown to even that of Reed Richards. Mr. Fantastic suspects that Sue somehow traps hyperspace when she activates her powers, and it seems like the only limit is her actual reserve. Like Violet, Susan can turn invisible, turn other objects invisible, create force fields, has telekinesis, and is capable of using force fields as shockwaves for offensive purposes. Overall, that's your strong brutes, stretchy advisors, invisible telekinetic chicks, and dashing quick hotheads. And now it's time we set ourselves a circumstance. What better place to throw a bunch of superheroes into an urban city like New York City? And like all heroes who plan and think on a whim, no preparation makes most sense. Once that circumstance bar has finally loaded, it's time to rewind rumble.
What's the matter? Couldn't take the heat? Any last words? It's free for all time!
Yes? Prepared for anything.
You are about to have a very bad day. Oh, come on! Are you even trying? Things getting a little close. Woohoo! Score another one for me. What's the matter? Couldn't take the heat.
Hopefully you enjoyed that animation, and if you did, special thanks to Team Animation Rewind's Gabriel M. Also, really huge thanks to MLG Avocado and Corin O'Keefe for preparing the post-analysis. The MLG Avocado did a bunch of research and stat gathering for this episode. Don't forget to download the free Animation Rewind apps. Thanks, and enjoy the post-analysis. The Incredibles may have done an incredible job in this fight, however they just weren't fantastic enough to ultimately pull it off. There are plenty of stats across the board that showcase why the Fantastic Four would win, though before we get into that, there are just some natural advantages this team has over the Incredibles. This is a battle between 2 adults past their prime and 2 kids nowhere near their prime, versus 4 adults in the peak of their prime. That alone should give you a bright idea on how this plays out. But if you want stats, we got stats. With speed, the best speed feat available for any Incredible belongs to Dash. Dash once ran from his house to the Great Wall of China. If we be nice and highball this feat to take even 10 minutes, that's 7,252 kilometers in 1/6 of an hour, which is 43,512 kilometers per hour, roughly 27,000 miles per hour, making him just about Mach 35. This is fast. Dash is probably the fastest 10-year-old I know, but this is nothing compared to the likes of the Human Torch or heck, even the Thing, who've both reacted to meteors. The average meteor travels over 160,000 miles per hour. This edge belongs to the Fantastic Four. As for strength, the strongest Incredible, being Mr. Incredible, is stated to cap out around 66 tons, whereas the Thing can casually hold back a hydraulic press strong enough to push through the entire planet itself. As for power, Mr. Incredible can easily break through walls and do some damage to a robot that's unaffected by rockets, though the Human Torch's Nova Blast can destroy a small moon, and his supernova can reach temperatures to that of an exploding star. The Thing can trade blows with Grey Hulk, who destroyed a meteor twice the size of Earth. I think you know who gets this edge. It's the Fantastic Four. As for durability, we've seen Mr. Incredible get hit by a train, Elastigirl surviving a plane explosion, and Violet's shield protecting her against the Omnidroid. As for the Fantastic Four, the Thing can take attacks from Grey Hulk and survived Ego, the living planet exploding. Sue also has superior force fields to Violet as she successfully contained Johnny's supernova attack once. Yeah, durability is also going to go to the Fantastic Four. As for intelligence, Mr. Fantastic alone is a super genius matched by very few beings in the entire Marvel Universe. He's the guy who invented the ultimate nullifier. Mr. Incredible, on the other hand, struggles to help Dash with his math homework. And last but not least, who has the better movies? You'd be happy to hear this one belongs to The Incredibles. It's a classic superhero film and one of the best in Pixar's lineup, whereas the Fantastic Four films, none of which are fantastic. Or even okay for that matter. The edge in this one, the most important one, goes to The Incredibles. However, this episode is all about who would win in a fight, not who has the better content. Making the winner of this Rumble, the Fantastic Four. Now, what if we allowed The Incredibles to use their secret weapon, Jack-Jack? We specifically didn't include Jack-Jack due to the little info we have so far about him, but with this new movie coming out, things could certainly be different. We'd get a bunch of more feats and an extra fighter. So if you want to see a 5-on-4 rematch with Jack-Jack, all you have to do is like this video. If this video gets 4,000 likes, such a battle will be put into production. Don't forget to comment down your own ideas, don't forget to download Meme Quest for free, and stay tuned as the next fighters are going to be revealed on the next episode of Rewind Rumble.
This place will be your grave!